Hello, YouTubers. Joe and Paul here again. Just before we came on, we were thrashing around with our hair, trying to, make it look really, really perfect. Now, Paul's got a little longer hair than I do at this point. I've had long hair from time to time. I pride myself on not paying. Well, that's not right. Not getting haircuts in a store because I don't like people horsing around my head with sharp tools, quite honestly, and unless I'm very trustful of that individual, and just wandering in off the street and having somebody with a sharp tool horse around my head, I don't like that. So I use one of these, buzzers. It just almost deafens you. You get these buzzer things. But so this is the 1/4 inch setting. But you get this sort of static electricity. So you pat it and you do this and you pat it and you do that. But it doesn't really matter, does it? It really just doesn't matter. Now, to get
calling up to see if there's different lengths. If there's longer strands left.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be. It's going to be. So now today, I started the day very early because I woke up, as I often do, very early in the morning, and you take your coffee, you take your tea, you take your vitamins, you take your antihypertensive drugs, and of course there's the usual physiologic necessities and so forth. Now, I had gotten a thing from the Ohio State University Medical Alumni Association, and I like to scan them because occasionally I know people that are involved in them, and the faculty, and quite often people I trained with, and people who were faculty just when I, new faculty when I was starting, 30 some years ago, and all that. And occasionally you get very, very sad news in that. And it turned out there was a situation where two people in my class who eventually got married, had a son, and he died for whatever reason here this last June. And he would have been around 34, 33. My son's 38. He's going to be 39 here next year, next July. And I always thought that a parent, for a parent to outlive their child was one of the most tragic things that could happen to that parent.
Everybody says that.
Well, and it's true. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Now, I don't know how this man died, but I do know, well, I haven't talked to his parents in a number of years, but my ex-wife and I used to socialize with them fairly frequently in 1974, 75. It's it's distressing it's distressing for me. Hell, I mean, it's distressing for them. So I had to track them down and find out their address and the databases. Now I've got this computer. I can do that with a database here and the database there. And then, since I've got Google Earth and being a curious so-and-so, I thought, well, let's just see how these people are living. And my heavens, they're living large. Well, most stocks live large, don't they? Or that's the popular perception. Well,
Castles on the road.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's, my word, they're sundown. So, live in a nice house. Now, we live in a modest house, although we've got 8 acres of land. So, 8 acres of land, big house, you know, which is which is which is which. So then, of course, you know, inquiring minds want to know. So then I got thinking about, well, let's just see, you know, of all the people I know who are docs that were friends of mine and are friends of mine that from time to time. So let's just fly around. And you fly around in Google Earth. You fly around in Google Earth. And I did that. And then, of course, then Paul woke up and, you know, we burnt some trash on the back porch in our little trash burning thing on the back porch. And then over the course of the day, we've been looking at
Old Colin's house.
well, all sorts of stuff in the Google Earth, and that's just tremendous. But it's very sad about these folks' kid, and of course, and then you wonder, is when you don't get a clear shot about where they live and what the other search things say, you know, did they get divorced? You know, not the people whose kid died, but you know, other people I'm talking about. You know, did they get divorced? Did they not get divorced? You know, you look in and you see, well, that barn's not there anymore. So did they tear down the barn? Did they sell it? You know, so these are questions that are problematic. When you're dealing with, well, not Google Earth. Google Earth's great, but just trying to use it as a tool to try to interact and find people. You know, I've got a sack of letters and address books from the last 35, 38 years. That I can thrash through, and it's, you know, you can fly in and you can see all this stuff. Well, that's clearly not what that guy's doing, or that's clearly not what that woman's doing. Well, because, you know, people don't change that much. They don't, I mean, you know, change, but they don't change that much. I mean, somebody who didn't like having, you know, trees chopped down all around them, you know, you're not going to find them living in a place where it's been clear cut. You're just not, you know, particularly if it's their land. You know, I looked for a Mennonite fellow friend of mine. You know, he and I taught undergraduate chemistry at Ohio State for 2 years, and then anyway, he was a very nice, he had this little Mennonite beard, and his church sent him to school, and he's up in Northwest Ohio, and I looked at his house, and he's next door to church. But that's his church next door to him. But you've got this 20-acre thing, and all the rest is soybean fields and stuff. But here are all these trees, and all these trees are about 35 years old trees. And I think, I bet he planted that. And God bless him if he did, because that's kind of like what we did out here. And I think it would be so neat if that turns out to be the case, so I'm going to have to be investigating that.
Contacting.
Well, you have to, you know, you have to use discretion in that. And the problem is, this time of year, you know, Christmas time, you know, 2 weeks before Christmas, you know, people get hinky about this kind of thing. So, I think that's enough of that topic for today. Now I've got a whole. I sat down and I made a list of stuff. So we'll figure out about what we can do here later on. So Paul and I will now stop, and now he's off today. Obviously this is Monday. He'll be working here. Well, well, till
I'll be
next.
home the 22nd.
He'll be home. He'll be home on Saturday, 20.
2nd of
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, 22nd. So, in any case, I may talk to y'all tomorrow. I may not. So, God bless y'all. Bye bye now.